Welcome to the CBD guy. I'm Reginald Grant.
And I'm Craig Zaffe. I'm the owner of Hemp for Life, Inc. And welcome to our podcast, Everything CBD and more.
So tell us, Craig, give us some insight today about anything you learned new when you were at the Athletes and Cannabis event last week.
Oof. I
put you on the spot, didn't I?
Well, that's okay, brother. I don't mind being put on the spot. I have to tell you, it was a life-changing experience for me.
Life-changing. That's big.
Life-changing.
Big.
I've been to an awful lot of expos over the last 6 years. This brought the very top talent in the cannabis industry. We had every walk of life. We were represented by more Blacks, Latinos, women, which is so important in cannabis since cannabis was the most persecuted plant in the history of mankind. More brothers and sisters paid that price. So this is the first time in history they're going to get a chance to be in the cannabis industry world. So it was so wonderful meeting so many talented young people. People in insurance, people in banking, security, other people who are athletes who actually have their own CBD companies. We have athletes who are growing their own hemp. So it's just incredible to see such talented young people from all walks of life getting involved in the green revolution of cannabis. And to see former athletes who've paid the price of being addicted to pharmaceuticals, turning to cannabis to start heal themselves. So it was an incredible time, and the conference was just incredible, educating everybody, because everybody brought so much to the table.
Diversity, inclusion, opportunities for everybody that's willing to put in the grind, to put in the work, to put in the hustle, to put in the passion, to get it done. There are no easy paths in anything in life, but this is the wild, wild west. The cannabis, the medical marijuana, the CBD, the hemp industry are bountiful, and it's going to be as big as the pharmaceutical sector. That's how big this sector is going to be. So it's a matter of getting in the game and playing.
It's going to be even bigger. That's why the pharmaceuticals are getting their patents down together. The tobacco companies are getting involved. Everybody knows that cannabis is the future.
All the big money's positioning themselves to win. What are you going to do to position yourself to win?
Well, I'm bringing the right people on board.
Well, I didn't mean you, I meant an audience. But
I think what was wonderful about the conference is that we explained to anybody who want to get involved in cannabis, it's a different animal, cannabis, with the federal government. So you have to be compliant. You have to do all your homework ahead of time. So,
but again, that's just like any regulated business. It's the same if you're in the liquor, if you're in the tobacco, if you're in anything that's regulated, then yes, of course you have to have compliance. You have to be on your A game. But again, there are tremendous generational wealth opportunities in this space.
Like never before. I mean, the opportunity on whatever you get involved in cannabis, since there's 25,000 uses, whatever you get involved with, you have a righteous living. I mean, there's so many different opportunities for people who are very creative. If you're an artist, you can use hemp oil to do your paintings. If you're a fashion designer, hemp makes incredible fabrics. Construction industries, every day there's another new application to hemp. The food industry also, I mean, up to 1937, all animals were fed hemp. We all had a cannabinoid-rich diet. So everybody's getting involved. The science is there now, backing the benefits of this plant. So the opportunities for everybody to get involved is incredible. If not now, when?
Now, you just said a big fancy word, cannabinoid. Tell me what a cannabinoid is. Explain it to our audience for those that are neophytes and don't know.
Okay, cannabinoids are actually made in our own bodies. We have an endocannabinoid system. Endo means within. Cannabinoid is a substance that our body naturally makes. We have an endocannabinoid system. It turns out it's the largest regulatory system in our body, and it's in charge of the homeostasis balance of our health, which means just balance. So we have receptors that releases natural cannabinoids in our body, but as we get older, we become deficient in that natural production.
Like in
so
everything.
Everything starts to slow down. We have more aches and pains. We get more depressed. We have to deal with health issues. So you have to turn to phytocannabinoids, which means that plants have natural cannabinoids that interact with our own body. Now, the two primary sources is CBD from hemp and THC from marijuana. They're both considered phytocannabinoids, which interact with our own body. So by incorporating phytocannabinoids, either CBD or marijuana, you help restore the balance in your body. And the whole goal is always about balance and wellness. And the whole key, especially with life, is getting so stressful. There's a lot of mental wear and tear on your body. There's physical wear and tear on your body. You have to turn to phytocannabinoids to help restore your balance. And CBD is more important than ever. So I encourage everybody to start incorporating CBDs in their life, since life is very stressful, as you know. I mean, poor mothers can't get the baby formulas for their children anymore. CBDs will help them just stay focused, stay calm, deal with the situation, so they can just do what they have to do.
And again, the difference between CBD and THC?
There's a difference, is just percentage of THC. CBD has only 0.3%. Marijuana,
which means you don't get high.
Exactly. And again, marijuana is rampant. Everybody's talking about marijuana. Problem with marijuana is it's very potent. The higher the potency of the marijuana, the higher anxiety rates go up. So that's why CBDs is so important. They're growing CBD-rich varieties now, so you get more of the medicinal benefits without the psychotropic effect of the THC. So THC is the engine. CBD is the steering wheel. It just, it basically just nudges the THC off the CB1 receptor in your brain, lowers your anxieties so you can catch your breath. You get the medicinal benefits without being too stoned, because you always want to be in control, because you never know what life is going to unfold. There's a phone call away, there's a knock on your door, all of a sudden, life goes topsy-turvy.
There you go.
So now CBD,
go ahead.
So CBD is a neutralizer for too much THC. So it's so important, if you're going to be partaking in THC, to have CBDs with you. It's an antidote for too much THC.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, well, you know me, I don't smoke weed, but I am a capitalist, baby. It's all about the Benjamins.
Yes, and also being a Catholic, if you know the whole history of cannabis, it was used by the church. I mean, it goes way back to history of mankind. It's always been used from all civilizations for everything. Food, fiber,
in 1937, what made it all change here in America?
All right, 1937, you had three things going against cannabis. You had racism, because at that time you had a lot of jazz singers who were smoking cannabis. You have the Mexicans coming over working the farms. They were very anti-Black, Latino. They didn't want white women associating with the jazz singers who were smoking cannabis. Then you had synthetic pharmaceuticals started to being developed in Europe. We'd be up to 1937. Everything was plant-based medicine. And then you had William Hearst, who owned all the paper rights. So he was a big force also.
How was Hearst a force?
Excuse me?
How was Hearst a force?
Well, because he owned all the timber rights. Before then, everything was printed on hemp paper.
Oh, so when Hearst decided he wanted to monopolize
Exactly.
the newspaper industry. He changed it from being manufactured on hemp paper to being manufactured on wood paper.
Right. And also it takes
wood-based. Yes.
Right. And 1 acre of hemp equals 10 acres of trees.
Really?
Yes, you get more production out of 1 acre of hemp than you'll get 10 acres of trees and less environmental impact. So, and also, they passed that law at 2 o'clock in the morning. And they use the slang term marijuana. It was always known as cannabis sativa. So the AMA, the American Medical Association, was unaware of the fact what the Congress was doing, because they were in an uproar. Because up to 1937, everybody used cannabis. You could send away to Sears Roebuck catalog and get a cannabis tincture. It was the most prescribed medication in the world. And that all changed, and all the animals were fed hemp. Everyone had a phyto-rich cannabinoid diet. When mothers milked their children, that mother's milk was filled with phytocannabinoid-rich molecules. So we were much healthier back then than we are now.
Of course we were.
And the only time they legalized it was during WW2. They had hemp for victory because we couldn't get hemp from the Philippines because Japan invaded. So for 4 years, we allowed Midwest farmers to grow hemp. So when George Bush Sr. jumped out of his airplane, it was the hemp fibers that kept the parachute together.
So the parachutes were made of hemp?
Yes, the hemp fiber. Hemp is the strongest fiber out there. In fact, back in the 1600s, 1700s, Russia was in the forefront of making the best hemp. America couldn't compete. England couldn't compete. That was also because they had serfdom, because hemp is a very physical crop to harvest. So all the great civilization imported the hemp from Russia to make the riggings for their sail ship, to be able to traverse the oceans. If you didn't have a strong rope, you can go out in the oceans.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, I mean, also our country was founded on hemp. George Washington's first enactment as president, every colonist had to grow hemp to pay for their taxes. Henry Ford ran his first Model T on hemp oil, and a lot of his products are made from hemp. And that's happening now. There's a whole industry of hemp plastics replacing fiberglass in cars and everything else.
Right. But that's interesting. You said the whole push came because of money. It's America. Yes. It's all about the economics.
It's always exactly. And that was the downfall of America when they went from a hemp-based economy to what we have today. It was all about greed. And more lives have been ruined because of that greed when the government has their own patent. We have a patent from the government. 6,630,507 is the government's patent on the neuroprotection of cannabis. So our own government has a patent on neuroprotection, but yet they still make it illegal. And even when Marvin Washington, who sued the government, saying that there are medicinal benefits. We all went to court to support Marvin Washington when he went to court last year. Even the judge said there are medicinal benefits. The lawyer for the government says it's a gateway drug. There's no proven medicinal benefits. Where the judge said, I'm sorry, there are scientific studies showing that cannabis is medicine. But until the government changes, it's still going to be a rocky ride being involved in the cannabis world because it's illegal, technically still.
On the federal level.
On the federal level and also the banking level. You cannot get, a nationwide bank if you're in cannabis. It's hard to get credit card processing. So everything is in cash or debit cards now. That's why you have to hire security, which is a huge factor in the cannabis industry, to make sure the dispensaries are secure The workers are secure, and you have to invest a lot of money in security. Then you have to hire ex-military people to transport the cash. So they make it very difficult still.
But it's but there are tremendous opportunities. You have all kinds of obstacles, but the bottom line is you have to figure out a way to mitigate and navigate and figure out a way to get to where you want to go. And where you want to get to is the opportunities in multiple lanes. Just as you talked about at the Athletes in Cannabis Conference, there were dispensaries, there were growers, there were people with machines that dry it out. There were companies with insurance companies. There were all kinds of related companies in all kinds of multiple sectors that impact the whole ecosystem, because it's an entire ecosystem related to these industries. And there are multiple industries within this sector: the hemp, the medical marijuana, the CBD, the recreational. There are multiple opportunities, and people get caught up on just the dispensaries, but there are tremendous opportunities. So like Hemp for Life, you founded a fantastic company. It's got OP6. Tell us about your OP6 creams.
My OP6 cream, I tell you, incredible stuff. And we did 6 years of research to come up with the formula. We have great ingredients. We have FDA approved ingredients in our formula. We had to register our formula with the FDA. We have 2 different formulas. One is for daytime. It opens up your blood. It gets the blood flowing. It's great for a pre-workout. And after you work out,
and pain. I use it for pain mitigation.
Well, it's also good for pain. I start off my day with the OP6.
Can't see it. There you go. Lower. There you go.
Every day. I still do hard labor at 71. I wake up, I'm a little stiff. I put this on my back. 20 minutes, I'm all warmed up.
Rocking and rolling, taking no prisoners.
Rocking and rolling. I got my hands in the earth. I keep on going. Then we have a PM formula. When you come home, you still built up all that lactic acid from working out. You put on the cool formula. It reduces the lactic acid. You have a quicker recovery rate from your day's labor. I mean, very active. You go to the gym, you work out, you come home, you're sore, you use this, all of a sudden, you forgot that you were in pain.
There you go.
And listen, life without pain is a beautiful thing. I mean, pain is a good indicator.
My 81-year-old mom and my 83-year-old mom and my 81-year-old aunt are using the cream to mitigate their process. And it's just amazing how well this stuff works.
Well,
I have my feet and I'm knocked out at night.
Right. I have a client, 103. She's using the roll-on now. Loretta Diffenhofer. She still works out in her garden.
It's all about quality of life. Quality of life. Quality of life.
And she said, my knee hurts me. I can't go out and weed. I said, Loretta, I'm coming with the OP6. I want you to give your testimony to me, which I'm waiting for. But everybody, certainly if you're above 65, you can benefit from using the OP6 sports cream. Because
amazing.
At that point, you have the arthritis, it gets in the way of your life. And you want to, play with your grandkids, but you can't get off the couch because you're in pain. There's something here that can help. Because every grandparent wants to spend time with their grandkids. And nothing worse if you're feeling bad, you can't get off the couch, you're in pain. Fun to be around. And there grandparents are made to be fun around because they have a wealth of knowledge.
And a wealth of love to give. I'm Reginald Grant. I'm glad to be on with you at Hemp for Life and the CBD guy, everything CBD.
And I'm Craig Zaffe, the owner of Hemp for Life, Inc. Please visit my website, Hemp for Life Wellness. And I want to thank Athletes in Cannabis for being our sponsor, because without them, I wouldn't have the privilege of talking to everybody. So once again, I hope we planted the seed of wellness in everybody. I'm so fortunate to have my friend here, Reggie Grant, on the other side, on the West Coast, because we're bi-coastal. And how cool is that? To be rocking and rolling on both coasts.
There you go. Peace, love, and happiness. We're out. Have a great week.
You have a better one. Much love and respect. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.